Okay, for the gear, a lot of gear, of course. You've got your pack that you use when you're out there, of course. Not too big and bulky is good, but enough to carry all your stuff. Go around here. So the things you need on here, a good thing of nippers, and they get dull if you hit the hook too much. If you're using dry flies, you need the floatant, and you need a good pair of hemostats to get the hook out. And then the tippet, because whenever you change flies or it breaks off, you don't want to replace the whole leader, just the tippet in different sizes depending on what you're doing. And here, your flies that you just finished with, maybe, you put them on there to dry. And then in here is where you put your extra leaders and your tackle. Okay, so that's your pack you take with you. Some of the things you're going to need, cleaner, lots of different flies. We have different reels and fly lines for different situations. This one sinks slowly, this one sinks quickly. Other ones don't sink, the floating lines, so different reels for different situations and different weights. And you've got different, come in for this one, Coach. You've got lots of different flies. These flies are all neutral buoyant, so you need them on a sinking line. These are good for bass or stripers. These are some of the really good ones you'll like. These are Klausers, and they have a weighted head, so they work on any type of fly line. They'll get down. Bait fish imitations here. Now, for going to trout fishing, you need lots of these little guys that they have all these different names and stuff. But some of the main things are these dry flies here. We use these a lot here. These guys are caddis flies. These are gnats, Griffith's gnat. Woolly buggers are good. Those are pretty big. Here's some smaller ones in here. We use these a lot at the beginning. These, what do you call it? Mop flies or mop heads, but we don't use those as much anymore. So these are dry flies, and they have this little, looks like a little marshmallow on top. This is so you can see where your fly is. Some of these that it's hard to see where they are once they hit in the water, and you don't know if a trout's coming at it. So lots of different flies. So that's the flies, and then there's some other stuff that you'll need over time, but get into that. Right now is time for your fly rods. Ours break down and go in this case, which is nice. Together, this here is an 8 weight. Yeah, this is an 8 weight here. They're in 4 sections. Obviously, you know how to put them together. Make sure the eyelets are lined up. Okay, so now I've got some floating line here. I've got my leader, tapered leader right here, and I've got my 9-foot 6 weight rod right here. Now, I think you have a 9-foot 5 weight, which is a really good all-arounder. The 6 weight would probably be considered kind of a bass one. But so right now, this is a leader, and Coach, if you can get in close here, you can see there, it's tapered. This end's, the butt end is thicker, and it goes down to 6X, which that's kind of a good trout size. So we're gonna undo this. Okay, so this leader here, it's tapered, but it doesn't come with a loop end. And we have the loop end of the fly line. We need to get these together. So you could look it up, but tying a perfection loop here is what you need to do. And it's real simple, but I'll let you look that up on YouTube, perfection loop. It's pretty simple, but easier. Somebody has a better video than I do. Okay, I've got my loop on here. Now I'm ready to put this on the fly line. So this will go Can you see that, Coach? Fly line goes through the loop on the leader, and then the leader goes through the fly line loop. So once you get that through, it'll look nice and neat like this. Can you see that there, Coach? It'll look like that. Okay, now we've got a woolly bugger here. Kind of overcast, so I'm going with kind of a neutral green. They say bright ones on bright days, dark ones cloudier at night. This has a cone head on it, so it'll get down because this is a floating line. And for this one, I'm just going to tie the normal clinch knot here, fisherman's knot I think they call it, over about 5, 6, 7 times and back through the loop. How's the camera work? Good. Okay. And this is 6X. This is not what I would normally be using at the lake. This is more for trout. But I think we're going to go to Roaring River later, so get this all ready. Back through the loop. Wet it. And then hold the hook. Pull the running line. Trim the tag. Tag end off. Okay, so we're ready to go fishing. Now that was the clinch knot. That's when you don't want to give it a whole lot of action. That's good for dry flies, woolly buggers. I think it's fine. Test it out. We might be able to get some bluegill here with this, so we'll see. Okay, now it's time for the casting part of the lesson here. Okay, so put down there and then pull out. Pull out a bunch of fly line. So we're going to try to cast over that bank. Pull out a bunch of fly line here. Now I'm going to hold the fly line with my left hand. Rod here with my right. Pull it up. Shoot it out. Up, stop, out, stop. Okay, so the idea is here that you want to focus on when you make your first pull, the rod tips down. So you get the biggest pull. And you pull it up to here and then let it stop. Okay, so here, stop, and then shoot it out. Here, stop, shoot it out. So 1, 2, 3. Down, up, out, and down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to try and get a little more distance over there so I get it nice and tight for my pull. Up, out, alt cast, back, and then shoot. And I didn't quite make it to the shore, but decent length. And then I'll strip it. This is a underwater fly here, a streamer. So I'll strip it back, giving it some action to hopefully entice the fish. There's nothing there. When I get it close enough, I can back up. Bluegill over there to my tip here. Just make sure you always put the fly line underneath your right hand on the rod. And you pull with your left hand, strip it through. When you get a fish up, now another cast that's really good for when you're starting out, and for when there's something behind you like this, is the roll cast. This is good so it doesn't hit other people. So you bring it in, and sometimes called the D cast because you're going to make a D with the fly line in the rod, and then you fly line in your left hand, same, and then you shoot it. And you don't go all the way down to the water with your rod tip. Still, you want to stop at eye level, and that'll shoot out that fly line just the same without coming back behind you. So it's good when you're in tight quarters. Oh, here we go. Got a monster here. Probably a 20-pound striper or a few ounce bluegill. So here's what happens with the bluegill a lot, they have swallowed it. And so that's why we definitely need our tool here to save all the bluegill. Okay, woolly bugger's out. Bluegill's happy. He's going back in.